everyone, good morning. My name is Taskia Rahman. In this video today, we want to presentation our discussion result about truth in communication science and ethics. We are from group 7. Here's the name of our group member. First, Reza Prasetyo Adi. Second, Taskia Aulia Rahman. Third, Yoga Sahdewa. Truth in communication science and ethics. Ransdell's contention that a Peircean science is a tradition of communication about some subject matter may sound rather misguided. It would seem to turn a serious matter into mere discourse. However, although Randall may be overstating his case, he has rightly identified a key element of Peirce's conception of scientific inquiry that is frequently ignored by other commentators. That is, the fact that the idea of communication is inherently connected to the notion of inquiry, in particular, in its more developed form, organized science. Strong defense of realism and objectivity easily ignore how basic and crucial the communicative dimension is for inquiry, in particular, and for cognition more generally. Indeed, this indicates one way in which a communicative point of view can be said permeate Peirce's philosophy. Truth is a quality of belief and derived from sentence which states that belief. Truth is a certain relationship between a belief and a fact or more beyond belief. Philosophy is the source of science, and science is the source of basis of the truth. The problem of truth is very basic because it involves all knowledge that leads to truth. The problem is the relationship between knowledge and reality. True knowledge is the knowledge that is meant in accordance with reality. The truth that is discussed in the philosophy of knowledge is truth as the quality of knowledge. The meaning of true knowledge and desire to reach the truth varies according to the cultural context. Towards correct knowledge of Eastern philosophy is teleological. True knowledge brings salvation. Philosophy is a set of attitudes and beliefs about life and nature that are accepted uncritically. Philosophy is a set of problems which reserve immediate attention from humans and to which philosophers seek answer. The problematic of the truth. Since childhood, when humans have just experienced the beginning of development, they will certainly find various experiences of this truth. When a parent gives a warning, as or forbids the child, he unconsciously tells us the criteria of truth. Phrases such as "Don't be naughty, kid," "Don't disturb your little brother," "Let's learn to take a shortcut," "Don't get near the fire," "It will burn," "Oh my good boy," are a number of statements filled with truth formulas and proposition. He can snap at the ontological dimension to the pragmatic and practical. The struggle for the validity, superiority, and meaning of truth is often the beginning and also the trigger for various dynamics of conflicts between humans, debates in parliament, polemics in court hearings, demonstration of demands for community rights, burning of different sects, conflicts between supporters to mere conflicts between wars between countries cannot be separated from the problem of formulating and interpreting what truth is. At this point, the discussion about truth is not only about knowledge, but in itself carries the interests and powers of each. From this opinion, it can be concluded that the truth already exists. It remains only to trace the evidence. Evidence of the truth can be reached through experiment or scientific studies against the existing evidence.
Three kinds of theory of the truth. Correspondent theory. The truth that is seen from the existing reality is commensurate with reality. Coherence theory. Truth is if a statement or belief is related to other statement or belief. Pragmatic theory. Truth is satisfactory or practice solution to a problematic situation. Communication ethic. One of the reasons for talking about Peirce's philosophy of communication rather than his theory of communication. These terms to donate an implicit tension that complicate any attempt to solve communication problem in semiotic. Peirce's philosophical views seem to different, which treat communication as just one example of sign action among many. That is, we must be able to articulate a theory of communication practice as a special application of general semiotic. However, we also find the idea of communication vague but undeniable in the central concept of Peirce philosophy. As in sign and thought, this ambiguity has not gone unnoticed. Peirce's character ethic as that normative science which studies the condition of that excellence, which may or may not belong to voluntary action in its relation to its purpose, and aesthetic as the science of ideal, or of that which is objective, admirable without any ulterior reason. In other words, ethic is concerned with that is right and wrong in action, give certain ideal purpose, while aesthetic is supposed to determine by analysis what is that one ought deliberately to admire in itself regardless of what it may lead to and regardless of its bearing upon human conduct. Put differently, aesthetical queenly shit ought to determine what is attractive in itself. Definition. Ethic comes from the word ethikos, and in Greek it is called ethikos, which means the habit of norms, value, rules, and measurement of good and bad human behavior. Ethic is a branch of axiology, namely the science of value, which focus on the search for the right and wrong, or in another sense of moral and immorality. Ethic and morality is more or less the same in meaning, but in daily activities there are differences, namely morality or morality for the assessment of action carried out, while ethic is for the study of the prevailing system of value. Ethic is the science of defense that regulates how humans should live in society, which involve rules or participle that determine correct behavior, namely good and bad, or obligation or responsibilities, so that in communicating, individual or group must have ethic in communicating effective.
Semiotic. As with other semiotic books, it is quite detailed to over the truth of two semiotic founders, namely Charles Sanders Peirce, pragmatic, and Ferdinand de Saussure, structuralist. According to Charles Sanders Peirce, semiotic theory, semiotic is based on logic because logic studies how people reason, while reasoning according to Peirce is done through science. According to Peirce, these signs allow us to think, relate to other people, and give meaning to what the universe represents. In this case, humans have a variety of signs in various aspects of their life, where the linguistic sign is one of the most important. In the semiotic theory of function and use of a sign is the center of attention. Signs as a means of communication are very important in various conditions and can be used in various aspects of communication. Linguistics in Peirce semiotics. Peirce paid more attention to the linguistics sense, which he found very important. According to him, every sense in general also applies to linguistic signs, but not necessarily linguistic signs also apply to other signs. According to Peirce, signs are related to the object that resemble them. Their existence has a causal relationship with signs or because of conventional ties to these signs. Therefore, in general, Peirce argues that this theory applies in general, that various signs created by human in order to communication are repressions of linguistic language or linguistic signs that are generally accepted. Peirce classifies ground into three things, namely, first, quality signs is the quality of a sign. For example, the quality of the words used accompanying three things, such as words that are hard, harsh, or soft. Not only the words that determine the quality of a sign, it can also be the color used and even the accompanying picture. So in this case, we should not speak casually. We must speak softly and use ethics, not to speak harshly, especially towards elders. The second, sin signs, is the existence and actuality of a object or even against a sign. For example, the word flood in the sentence "there is a flood disaster" is an event that predicts that flooding is caused by running. The third, listen signs, is the norm contained in a sign. This has to do with what can and should not be done. Suppose a no smoking sign indicates that we are prohibited from smoking in the environment where the sign is located. Even more common, of course, are traffic signs, which indicates what we can and should not do while driving. Conclusions. By studying the theory of semiotics, we get many new things. As a communication learner, it turns out that signs can also be a means of communicating, that the signs also has a very useful meaning for human life. As communication learners, studying this semiotic theory will strengthen our knowledge that the signs in various implementation can be practically applied in various things in human life.